Sarah Sykes here with EssentialHomeandGarden.com. Today we're going to be unboxing the hOmelabs 50 Pint Dehumidifier with Pump. Like all hOmelab products, this one is very well packed, so make sure you grab your scissors before you start the unboxing process. Don't lose track of your tubing for your pump. That's going to be attached to the back of the plastic covering that goes over your dehumidifier, so make sure you don't throw that out with all the trash. Once you get your dehumidifier unboxed with all the plastic and tape off, you want to do one more thing before you plug it in, and that's to pull out this reservoir box. And inside you're going to find the handles taped down, so make sure you take that tape off. And then you're also going to see there's this extra piece in here. This is the cord wrap. So this goes on the back of the machine. Get that unwrapped. Put your reservoir back in. If you're having trouble getting this back in, it's usually because this pump piece back here has fallen down. So you can kind of push that up, back into position, and that'll let you slide your reservoir back in. Click that into place, and you're going to turn your dehumidifier around. You'll see this receiver for the cord wrap. Just press that firmly into place until you hear it click. And that's where you can wrap your cord around to shorten the length once you figure out where you're going to put this. Now that the dehumidifier is unwrapped, let's take a look at a few of the components. On the back, you'll notice this big filter screen. When this gets clogged up, the control panel will let you know. To take that off, you just want to pull on the tab, pull it out. You can vacuum it, you can run it under water, get it dried, and then just make sure it is securely installed before you turn on your device. It's a little tricky to get all the pieces back in there. Push on each side, and then each corner, it'll pop back into place. The other thing you'll notice on the back here is this hose connection plug. You want to make sure this is tightly in place when not in use. Since this is the pump version of the 50 pint dehumidifier, probably won't be using that. Let's keep that covered. You'll also notice on the bottom here you have your plug wrap for keeping your plug secured when this is in use, and you'll also have your drain line pump, receiver. So for that, you're going to take your drain line, and all you really do is push it in there. It should be pretty tight, should stay. Always check that before you turn this on. You're going to run the other end of your line to a sink or drain or out a window, wherever you plan on using this. On the front of your dehumidifier, you're going to find your reservoir compartment. Pull this out, just pull along the sides here. You'll see you have your 50 pint water reservoir. But with this model that has the pump, you're not going to be pulling this out too often. Because what's going to happen once you engage the pump is this little piece inside here is going to pull down and start pumping the water through that drainage line that connects on the back here. Now, the one thing that is important to keep in mind here is when you go to put your reservoir in, if you sense any resistance, don't force it. What that means is your pump is still down. So what you need to do is just click it into place there. Super easy, but it does get knocked out of place pretty easily. So just make sure as you're pushing that in, you don't sense any resistance, and then just click everything into place. You'll be ready to go. Now let's take a look at the control panel. You can see you have a lot of different modes and functionality here. So this is a really nice dehumidifier in that sense. When you first turn it on, it is going to default to turbo and continuous mode. To turn that fan down, just hit this turbo button off. Now continuous mode is just going to allow the dehumidifier to run and run either until the reservoir fills up, or if your pump is on, it'll just keep running basically indefinitely until a filter clogs or something like that. To turn it off of continuous mode, just hit that button. Now you'll see on this display screen, this is the humidity in my room right now. So it's 34, it's already pretty low. Probably don't need this thing running, but I'll show you all the features we have anyway. Once that continuous mode is off, that gives you the ability to use these buttons to basically dial in your preferred humidity setting. So that's your target setting. Lowest it has is 35. You can go all the way up to 80. And basically, once you put in that target setting, this thing will run until it hits that setting, and then it'll turn itself off. You also have some options here to use the timer function. So if you turn the timer on, you can dial in how long you want this thing to run before it turns off. It goes in half-hour increments all the way up to 10 hours, and then it'll turn to 1-hour increments all the way up to 24 hours. So you can set how long you want it to run, and then it'll turn off automatically once that timer counts down. Now, one of my favorite features is this comfort level setting. So if you turn that on, the humidifier is going to automatically determine what the optimal humidity level is for the room based on the temperature. So that's a nice thing if you don't want to think about it, you just want to get comfortable. Turn that on, and the dehumidifier will automatically turn on and off to keep you at that optimal humidity level based on the temperature of the room itself. Now, this last button here, this pump button, this one's really important. With that pump installed, you do have to turn the pump on in order for it to be active. So if that pump is not turned on, the machine will turn off as soon as the water reservoir fills all the way up. With the pump on, once that reservoir fills up, the pump's going to automatically start pumping the water out of the dehumidifier and keep it running continuously if you're in continuous mode, or just as long as those other settings allow for.